This is Valmiki Ramayan, Season 7, Episode 10. Heavy losses for the Rakshasas. The Vanaras roared when they saw that Ram and Lakshman had recovered. And the sound of that roar, which was like thundering storm clouds, reached Ravan. Ravan was with his ministers, prematurely celebrating his victory. But when he heard the Vanaras, he realized something was amiss. He told his ministers to find out what was happening. And when he learnt the truth, the color drained from his face. And then, hissing like an angry snake, he ordered the Rakshas general Dhumraksha to lead a charge onto the enemy forces. Note: the Vanaras had breached the city gates and parts of the fortifications on the first day itself, but the Rakshasas had won back some ground. The fight was still outside the city, just beyond the boundary wall. Dhumraksha, leading a massive Rakshas force, confidently stepped out of the city's western gate. Here the Vanaras were led by Hanuman. Tad babhuva adbhutam ghoram yuddham vanara rakshasam. And then an incredible and ghastly fight ensued between the Vanaras and the Rakshasas. Like on the first day, the Rakshasas were supremely well equipped. They rode chariots, elephants, and horses, and had astras and shastras of all kinds. Their arrows and spears rained down on the Vanaras, killing and maiming them. The Vanaras struck their enemies with rocks and tree trunks, and kicks and punches. Many a Rakshas was bludgeoned to death by these powerful blows. Both sides fought bravely, and both suffered terrible casualties. Hanuman spotted Dhumraksha and threw a massive rock at his chariot. Dhumraksha saw it coming, grabbed his mace, and jumped out just in time. The boulder crushed the chariot. Hanuman picked up another boulder and rushed towards his enemy. Dhumraksha charged at him with his spiked mace. Dhumraksha's blow landed first, but Hanuman did not flinch and smashed Dhumraksha's head with the boulder, killing him instantly. The Rakshasas saw that their general had been killed and hastily retreated. Ravan was furious when he learned what had happened. He then sent off Vajradhanshtra to lead the next charge. Vajradhanshtra led his forces out of the southern gate. Here the Vanar army was under the charge of the young Angad. Once again, it was a dreadful fight. Soon the battleground was littered with severed heads, limbs, and torsos. Bhujapan shiras chinnah chinnakayascha bhutale. Crows and vultures gathered for the feast. Angad started working his way towards Vajradhanshtra, who was causing many casualties among the Vanaras. The Rakshas saw him coming and struck him with a volley of arrows. Angad's body was drenched in blood, but he kept going closer. And then Angad threw a large rock at Vajradhanshtra's chariot and wrecked it. This forced the Rakshas to fight Angad in a hand-to-hand duel. Just like Hanuman, Angad had forced his adversary off his chariot. Engaging their enemies at close quarters played to the Vanaras' advantage. Angad and Vajradhanshtra punched and hit each other viciously. Both were soon exhausted and started vomiting blood. Rudirodkarinau tautu praharair janitashramau. Angad picked up a tree trunk and the Rakshas grabbed a sword. They struck each other until both were so tired that they fell to their knees. And then Angad tapped his last bit of energy. He pounced on Vajradamshtra, grabbed his sword in a flash, and cut off his head. The Rakshas troops lost courage upon seeing their fallen general and ran back to Lanka. Ravan then ordered Akampan to lead the next Rakshas assault. Akampan also targeted the Vanar troops near the western gate. Valmiki says, the warring forces kicked up a cloud of dust that covered the entire battlefield. One could not see much. But after some time, the dust settled because the ground had become soaked with blood. And then a terrible picture emerged. The battlefield was covered with dead bodies. Sharira Shavasankirna Babhuva Chavasundhara. Hanuman saw that Akampan's ferocious attacks had thrown his troops in disarray. He decided to engage the Rakshas general in a direct fight. By the way, in this battle with Akampan, Valmiki does not talk about Hanuman flying in the air or growing himself to an enormous size. Remember, Valmiki had used such imagery during Hanuman's journey across the ocean in the Sundarkand. Some people wonder whether those descriptions in the Sundarkand should be taken literally. But think about it. If Hanuman could actually fly and grow himself to the size of mountains, why would he not do so now? That would have ended the battle quickly and saved many lives. Akampan fired off a series of deadly arrows at Hanuman. The arrows found their mark and Hanuman was wounded. But Hanuman carried on as if the injuries were nothing. Grihitva sumhashailam paninaikena marutih savinadya mahanadam bhramaya masa viryavan. Hanuman picked up a rock in one hand, swung it round, and with a scream, threw it towards Akampan. Akampan was a skilled archer. He fired an arrow that struck the rock in midair and broke it into pieces. He followed that with more arrows targeting Hanuman. Hanuman got drenched in blood from his many wounds, but kept coming towards Akampan. And finally, he got close enough and smashed Akampan's head with a tree trunk. Yet another Rakshas general had fallen. The remaining Rakshasas retreated in a mad scramble, defeated and humiliated. They were falling over each other, looking over their backs in terror. The Vanaras rushed to congratulate Hanuman, and like a true leader, he recognized and thanked them for all their contributions. Sarvan Harin Sampratya Pujayat. And then, to relish this moment of victory, the Vanaras belted out one screaming roar with all their might. Vineduscha yatha pranam harayo jitakashinah. Iti ha asa. That is how it happened.